Hey everyone, it's Jason, and welcome to another Marvel United unboxing. This is for Annihilation, based after the comic book event of the same name. For those of you not entirely familiar with what the Annihilation was, or the Annihilation Wave, was this big green dude up here, the Annihilus, usually a Fantastic Four villain, hangs out in the negative zone. Basically decided his world, negative zone, was being taken over too much rapidly by this thing called the Crunch. So he decided to go out and essentially conquer everything. So he has giant race, big wave of different enemies and all these spaceships up. He started just conquering planets and areas and systems. And it was up to cosmic heroes to essentially stop them. So we get lots of stuff with some cool characters here. We have Quasar, Falavel, Nova, and Moon Dragons. We get 4 cool new heroes in here. Also, this teams well with Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, because we have those guys are heavily involved in this, as well as Ronan the Accuser, Super Skrull, although some of them guys are only villains in this game. Things like this would be cool for the overall storyline. They ever made them guys into anti-heroes, because they'd be cool to play against in this scenario. So we get some really neat stuff in there as well. Plus, we're having a new challenge mode. So 4 heroes, 1 villain, and some new challenge mode, which is fun. So it kind of harkens even back here to the Series 1 sets, where you had 4 characters, a villain, and then you had some sort of special extra thing in the set. Now, I believe this is a Kickstarter exclusive as well, but it's nice to know it's in the box in case you ever see it out in the wild or online. Alright, so let's start with our locations. I have Annihilation on the back, so we know what set they came from. We're going to get 4 brand new ones. We're going to have Athros, which is where the Annihilation... camera is being goofy today. I'm trying to get it straight, and it does not want to stay straight. Where the Annihilation and kind of Annihilus sort of started from. Of course, we're only going to have villains or thugs on there. End of turn. If there are no more thugs in this location, you may move a villain to this location. Interesting. So you annihilate everything in there, and they'll come after it. To go with that, we also have the Harvester of Souls, this big giant cocoon-looking thing that Annihilus brought along with him to help harvest planets. So at the end of each villain turn, add 1 charge token here. When there are 3 charge tokens here, discard them, draw a Master Plan card, add it face down to the story. So we are going to get these lightning bolt charge counters to go with those. Pretty cool. It says at the end of your turn, you may discard 1 charge token in this location. So basically, if this is out, it's going to cause problems. I'm going to guess... nope, he doesn't. I thought maybe he started with that. Alright, then we also have Kree Lar. This is the Kree homeworld. So we have some Kree characters. So end of turn, you may discard 1 card to reveal the top card of your hero deck, getting action tokens equal to the symbols at the bottom of the card revealed. And then finally, we have the Nova Corps Headquarters. Because I think after their planet of Xandar got destroyed, or maybe this is just in general of having that, you may discard 1 card or 1 action token to place 1 Nova Corps token on any location without 1. If an overflow or an overflow effect discards civilian should happen in a location with a Nova Corps token, ignore it and discard the token instead. So here's our other 6 tokens. Pretty self-explanatory. They're just letting you place extra tokens down. So we have a couple of players may use Harvester Soul location to increase the game difficulty. Harvester Soul is in play during setup. Keep 3 charge tokens aside. And then Nova Corps. If the Nova Corps headquarters is in play during upkeep, keep the 6 tokens there. So basically, it kind of helps make the game a little bit easier. You may use Nova Corp end of turn effect. Only when they're available, right? To have more than 1 token on there as a time. Cool. So that's a different way, just extra locations using special tokens to change how the game works. Alright, so before we get into our actual heroes, we have a new challenge. A new challenger appears. So we have the Complication Challenge. It says setup. Add up to 4 random complication cards in the master plan deck, 1 after each of the first, 3rd, 7th, or 5th and 7th cards. As soon as a complication card is at the top of the master plan, place it face up near the play area and immediately apply its effect. Complication remains in effect until their discard 1 condition is met. Multiple complication cards may be in play at the same time. So, they're going to all have this back. So, as soon as it's face up, immediately play it and apply its effect. So, we do get, I think, 12 of them, right? Yes, we get 12. So, you're going to use 4 every time. So, you can play 3 full games without ever having them. You can mix and match them into any game. So, again, just makes the game a little bit more complicated. We have Hired Thugs. So long as this card is in play, each time a master plan card adds any thugs, add an additional thug to the location, and discard when 3 or more. A hero defeats 3 or more thugs in a single turn. Too much to handle. As long as this card is in play, each time overflow is triggered, deal 1 damage to a hero in the location. Discard when you rescue 3 or more civilians in a single turn. Kidnapped. As long as this card is in play, civilians rescued by heroes are placed here. Discarded. When end of the turn, there are 3 or more civilians here, so you gotta rescue 3 guards to get rid of them, so then you're not getting credit for them anywhere else. Prison Break. As long as this card is in effect, thugs defeated by heroes are placed here. At the end of the hero turn, there are 3 or more, so they don't go on your board to complete your missions. Side maneuver. As long as this card is in play, when the villain activates their BAM, they additionally deal 1 damage to 1 hero in the opposite location. And discard when at the end of a hero's turn, there are heroes in both locations adjacent to the villain, or all heroes are in the opposite location of the villain. They tougher than they look. As long as this card is in play, heroes must forfeit 1 attack action during their turn if possible. Discard when you defeat 2 thugs in a single turn. Show of Force. As long as this card is in play, each time a villain enters a location with a single hero, that hero must discard 1 action token. If they can't, they take 1 damage. Discard when a hero enters a turn at the villain's location and chooses to play their next card randomly. It was just a decoy. As long as this card is in play at the end of each villain turn, if there are 3 or fewer threats in play, bring 1 random cleared threat back into play location without a threat. Discard when 2 threats are cleared in the same hero turn. Unexpected Twist. As long as there is a card in play, at the end of each villain turn, accelerate the villain turn by 1 if not already accelerated. At the end of the turn, hero discards 2 action tokens or 2 cards. They found our weak spot. As long as this card is in play, all damage dealt by villains is unpreventable and their BAM can't be cancelled. Discard when a hero is KO'd. Travel Light. As long as this card is in play, each hero can't have more than 1 action token at any time. They must discard any excess, and discard when all missions have been complete. And then the last one is looking for the right tools. As long as the heroes in play, heroes must first spend 1 heroic in the villain's location before damaging them. Discard on their turn, spends 2 in the location opposite of the villain. So pretty cool. Yeah, it's a neat way to add a little bit of extra challenge to any single game if you don't want. Sometimes it's like, oh, you can remove your wilds. Maybe you don't want to remove your wilds, but you just want to make the game a little bit more challenging. Depending on what villain and what card pops up, they could be a lot worse. Some guys, if their threats come back, that could make them a lot worse. Sometimes having to spend extra heroic actions like this instead of being able to do them somewhere else might make the game a lot harder versus other villains. And that also makes that kind of an interesting mechanic. Alright, we are going to hop into some heroes. So we're going to start with Nova Prime, Richard Rider. So we already had a Nova in the first series, but that was Sam Alexander. That was the newer one, the younger version. This is the original Human Rocket, part of the new... why do I want to say the new Warriors? Yeah. He's got his fists up like that. Pretty cool. So yeah, the Nova are like super powered space police. He eventually finds out he's part of that group. Which is pretty cool. He basically can shoot energy, project blasts, fly around. He also has a helmet which attaches to the world mind which gives him, like, super knowledge of all of the Nova Zandarians. So he has movement, of course, he's going to get movement, moving attack, heroic, moving heroic, moving attack. He's a human rock, he's going to watch the movement. Heroic attack is wild, he's double wild, and then he gets 3 Nova Force. So you'll have one here that says do a wild in an adjacent location or move, and you get 1 with attack and 1 with heroic. And then he has a bottom of the deck card. So we don't see this too often, but he has Nova Force Channeling. Do 3 wilds in an adjacent location, then you are KO'd. So basically he can sacrifice everything in 1 final blast. Cool. So very different there. Our next hero is, well, he has a bottom of the effect attack too. We'll just look at his next card then. Quasar. So he is like, kind of like the Green Lantern-ish of the group. He gets to like project all his different energy abilities, kind of like make things. This is ultra superpowered space guy. Wendell Vaughn, I believe is his real name. But he's also like other people that have had the thing because he has the quantum force bands that you can use to project all his powers. So they're not just coming directly from them, they're from these special abilities. So he is going to have heroic. Attacking. Move attack. Why don't you focus, camera? Move attack. Heroic attack. Wild, double wild, and then he has 3 copies of the Quantum Band constructs. Says draw a card. If you do, Quantum Bang. If you do and Quantum bangs a space up in the storyline, discard 1 card to gain 1 wild token. So yeah, by itself, it's a wild card. But if you have your Quantum bangs, he gets an extra. You can discard that card to gain a token, or any card. He has that in his starting hand. He has the Quantum bangs. As long as this card is spaced up on the storyline, you cannot use wild tokens, and once during each of your turns, you may forfeit 1 action to gain 1 token. So, interesting, right? So basically the way he's going to work is like this. You play this card early on, you don't get to use any of your wild tokens, but every time you could forfeit 1 action somewhere to gain extra wild. And then you can use your constructs to discard these cards to keep gaining more wild tokens. You still get to use wild symbols, you just don't get the tokens from them. Then the idea is he has the bottom of his deck card. You get to the bottom of his deck, he has Quantum Bang release. If Quantum Bangs is face up in the storyline, turn it face down. And all of a sudden, he could have 3, 4, 5, 6 wild tokens to just unleash all at the same time. So it's kind of crazy. He has a way to build these up. You just don't get to use them, but then you can smack down. So he's going to kind of charge up to like just take out a big bag all at once. Which is really neat. Alright. Then our next hero is Heather Moondragon. Or Heather Douglas Moondragon. So Moondragon is Drax's, who's Arthur Douglas's daughter. Yes, so Drax has a daughter. In the comic books, at least, the movies, everything's different. But yeah, she's a powerful, like, magician, moon-powered psychic. Is the best I can describe her. She's also in a relationship in the comics with our next character, who is Faye Lavelle. So they're in a relationship together, which is really cool. Got some cool stuff there. Alright, so what does Moondragon do for us? So she has move, heroic attack, move attack, move attack, heroic attack, wild, double wild, and then she has some abilities. She has Psychic Boost. This card you may forfeit any number of actions to distribute the corresponding tokens from the pool among other heroes. Okay, cool. So, if, like, for example, just on this card, she'd have a moving heroic, and if, like, previously she had double fist, double fighting attack, right? She can distribute those 4 symbols to everybody else. This could be kind of interesting. You could charge up Quasar. If you had a bunch of wild tokens, you could give them some extra wild tokens as well. Telepathy. Choose another hero. They may swap any number of cards in their hand with the same number of cards in the storyline. Neat. That is an actual really interesting card to play with just about anybody, right? So some guys that play stuff that come into play, they do this, or they could get them abilities back. Mind control. Flip up to 2 thugs or civilians in your location. I like it goes either way, because there might be times when you need one or the other. Psionic powers, and she has this card. You may use the symbols at the bottom of the 2 previous cards in the storyline instead of only 1. And our last card is Psychic Powers. You may look at the Master Plan deck, set aside 1 card, shuffle the remaining card, and put it at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, so basically choose what card you definitely don't want to deal with and put it on the bottom. I do wish she had 1 card that was her dragon form. She literally can turn into a giant dragon. So that would have been really cool, but unfortunately we didn't get that card. That would have just been a neat extra ability. Alright, then our last hero for this set. We already saw her picture, but we'll throw it up again. As we have Falavel. So this is interesting because she is a Cree, but she has been by other names, as including Mercy, which is kind of like her code names, but she's also went by Quasar for a while, and Captain Marvel, because she is the daughter of the original male Captain Marvel, not the Captain Marvel Carol Danvers, who's half Cree. Or infused with Cree, I forgot which way it goes. Yeah, so she has, she was Captain Marvel for a while with her brother Genesis Val, and then she later became Mercy. Then she also became Quasar for a while with the Quantum Bands, and she lost them. Now she forms this sword, which I forgot the name of it. They'll tell us in the cards, I'm sure. But it's a quantum band, like, forged weapons. It's kind of cool. She still has some of those powers. Yeah, it's a very interesting character. Attack. She's a heroic move attack, because we need some more attack characters in this set. Move attack. Move heroic. Wild. Double wild. Oh, it's just the quantum sword. They just call it the Quantum Sword. She has double attack for that. I thought it was called something else. It might be. Double attack against a single target in your location. She also has 2 copies of the Energy Absorption. Gain 1 heroic token and has a move. And then she gets a starting hand card, which is Negabands. Gain 2 heroic tokens. As long as this card is spaced up in the storyline, you may discard any number of heroic tokens to prevent the same amount of damage dealt to you. So you can start with them, and then she can either save them up to prevent damage, or she can use them if she needs them right away. So pretty cool. So we got 4 neat cosmic heroes who all do various different things. They play a little bit differently. Like Heather has, or Moondragon has a bunch of cool powers, whereas Nova's going to get a boost around a lot more. Would have been neat if he had some way of also interacting with his, the Nova Corpse tokens. That would have been neat. Like if I get they're produced on the one thing, if he would have had a way to also produce them, that would have been kind of cool. Alright, let's look at our villain for the set. Good old Annihilus. Which also, if you really want to have a fun little mini storyline, Blink from the Age of Apocalypse had one issue where she had to go and she got trapped in the negative zone, and then she ended up working with a human version of Annihilus until he eventually got revealed that he was Annihilus, but he had to fight against Blastar. He'll make an interesting little game of that. So special setup, Athros must be in his starting location. So this is when telling you have to start with a specific one. There is his miniature. His big green head, his big wings. So now, sometimes it's like this is his full body. Other ones, I think like this is an armored shell for him, or like an armor set. Sometimes it's kind of like a robotish thing. Sometimes it's like a bug. They kind of go back and forth on the character. He's supposed to be like a bug type thing. But again, they're not always 100% on that. Alright, so what does he have here? He has 5, 6, and 7. Special rule, when a hero is KO'd, Annihilus doesn't activate his BAM. Instead, increase the Annihilation track by 2. BAM, deal 2 damage to one hero in Annihilus's location and 1 damage to each adjacent location. So he's just going to do some damage. Overflow. Token can't be added, increasing Annihilation track by 1. And then Villainous Plot. Use a little tracking cube that comes in the base game. Heroes lose when the tracker reaches the space corresponding to the number of players, 14, 16, or 18. So all he's trying to do is increase his Annihilation tracker. Interesting. Alright, so then we have his threat cards. So we're going to start with the Annihilus Seekers. These big giant guys, and we have, actually we get 3 of those. It says, deal 1 damage to a hero in this location. Then the hero takes 1 extra damage if that was 1 face-up card with a special effect in the storyline. It'll probably happen unless he hits you early. We have 2 copies of the Annihilation Wave itself. Each thug in this location requires 2 damage to be defeated. Each civilian in this location requires 1 extra heroic to be rescued. And then we have Ravenous, who's like the leader of the Seekers. Deal 1 damage to each hero in this location and each adjacent location. So these guys are going to be pretty straightforward, just dealing damage, trying to KO you. But there's nothing never necessarily bad about a very simple or straightforward villain. Alright, then what does he have for his basic movements? He has BAM 1, a BAM 2, BAM 2 with thugs, BAM 4 with civilians, BAM 5 with civilians, BAM 5 with thugs. And then he's going to have his special abilities. So he's got move 5, BAM, negative zone invasion. Bring 1 random cleared threat back into play in the next clockwise location without a threat. So he's going to keep trying to probably bring back the Annihilation Waves or some of his henchmen. He has the same thing, but this one has a BAM 4. He's got another one with a BAM 2. And one with a BAM 1. So he's going to get both of those. Then he also has Continuous Rebirth at a 4 movement and at a 1 movement. It says when Annihilus be defeated, he immediately gains 2 health for each Continuous Rebirth card on the storyline. Move him to the opposite location, then turn 1 face up Continuous Rebirth card in the storyline face down. Interesting. So yeah, when you play the first one, when he gets defeated, you flip it over. He gets 2 health if he has it, and then he gets to flip 1 over, and then he has a second time to do it. Although if you end up getting both of them out before he dies, he'll end up gaining 4 health. So very interesting. It's kind of like, it's not like it comes into play, it does last. But I do like the ability, it keeps coming back. That is pretty fun. Yeah, so that is this set. Not a very long video because there wasn't a lot of additional content, but it's a very good solid expansion. So the Annihilation set, adds some fun new heroes, some locations that have some special things, which are always kind of fun. So the locations mean a little bit more than just I'm landing on this to defeat a threat. One's dangerous, one can potentially help you out, which is kind of cool. The complication cards could be really fun for just adding this into other areas as well. And it's also nice because there's 4 locations, so you don't need a lot to kind of fill this out to make it. Again, this would combine, I think, really well with some of the other cosmic sets that are out there, War for Kings, Guardians of the Galaxies. Plus, again, you can always pick up some of the other promo stuff, which have some more Shi'ar or things like that. Starjammers, more Guardian of the Galaxy characters. Plus, this also, I think, works with the campaign site as well. Alright, that's what we have for this video. Check out the rest of the Marvel United Multiverse stuff, or any of the older videos if you haven't. Hit me up in the comments. See you guys later. Bye.